Another really well-known technique that I think a lot of people struggle with, James, is macro photography. So can you tell us a little bit about that and best techniques and all of that kind of thing?
Well, I think we all know macro photography is this skill of shooting stuff very close up. So you find your subject and you shoot on a very, very close range. But there's more to it than that. I think you have to look into your subject matter quite carefully, because you're so close in, there's nothing left out really. So try and find something interesting. I mean, we found these little purple flowers. They're interesting. There's a lot going on. The colours, there's bits sticking out.
Yeah, they're very vibrant.
But on top of that, you have to think about background, you have to think about the exposure, and focusing becomes very tricky when you're focusing on something so close in, because you've got such a narrow depth of field, which I think we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things to consider when taking a picture in macro. So I'm using my DSLR today with a macro lens on.
Yep, and I'm using the Fuji again.
Yeah, which also has a very good macro function.
Yeah, it has. Which is the little flower
Yeah.
symbol. Which
Yeah.
so if you look for that, that's the thing to look for.
Yeah, that's what you often find it called on a lot of sort of more affordable cameras.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I think the best thing to do is just get on and see how the results turn out.
Okay.
What are the main things we have to bear in mind when we're doing macro?
Well, the first thing I'd always say is to keep your shutter speed fairly high. I mean, I would keep it at, don't go any lower than 2/50th of a second. Maybe try and keep it up at a 500th.
Okay.
Because there's stuff moving around. You're shooting at such close quarters that there's a lot of movement happening.
Yeah.
And also, but you also want to try and keep your depth of field as big as possible. So therefore, if you have to, in as low light, increase your ISO. I've gone up to 400 on here.
So what's ISO?
Well, the ISO is basically it's the sensitivity of what would be the film in days gone by.
Yeah.
Whereas now the digital cameras, it's the sensor, and it's another way of gauging the amount of light that will hit your
sensor
where your image is going to take place. You tend to shoot around 100 or 200 most of the time.
Yeah.
And with modern cameras, you can go right up to 120,000 now. But you want to keep it in a usable range. So above 1,000, I'd say you start to get some sort of depreciation of the image quality.
Okay. I mean, is that the same as grain?
Yeah, essentially, it's what you would have got on old fast film. By fast, I mean high ISO.
Oh, a high ISO.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It just means you can shoot in lower light.
Oh.
But it's, you know, like I say, if you can try and keep it below 1,000 on a modern camera, you should be okay. So those are the things you really have to bear in mind when taking macro photographs.
Okay. Well, let's take some shots.
Cool, that's it.